Hello everyone, wherever you're at, I hope this video finds you well. My name is Janice and today I'm going to be doing a video on secondhand. Now, I shop secondhand, but I also sell secondhand. I don't know which one I do more. I hope that I sell more than I shop, but frankly, I think I've definitely spent more money than I've made money, but that's okay. Because I think I'm getting great value and I'm buying things that will last me forever. That's my intention for it. So I first started selling because I wanted to declutter a lot of the things that I have in my closet. Now, a while back, I really got into this idea of trying to be a little more of a minimalist. Now, my personal style is not too minimalist because I do like color. I do like pieces that are rare. So I mix in some minimalism with, I don't know, with other like rare things that I like. That being said though, I'm very picky and there are a lot of things that I've accumulated in my closet that I no longer wear, that are quality, but that I don't quite want to let go for free, to be to be frank. So I thought, okay, well, it's hard for me to part with this, but at least, if somebody gives me $20 for it, it'd be easier for it to just, for me to let go with it, for me to part with it. So I started listing a lot of my items on Poshmark, and the more I was on Poshmark, the more I saw what was on there. So one day I see that somebody was selling a Gucci bag for $225, and I made her an offer and she countered and we settled on $190. And it ended up being the first thing that I ever bought secondhand. So here is the bag. I have things in the bag that I don't want to... It's nothing secret, it's a mess in there right now. Because this is a bag that I just use like on the go. So that's one thing that I purchased. I also talked about my Speedy B 25 Louis Vuitton bag. I did a video on that. I also wanted to show you that I purchased this Tory Burch boot. I purchased this boot for $190, I think. It was brand new. Now it has creases because I've worn it, but this boot retails for $4.98 and it's an excellent leather material. Perfect riding boot for winter. There are other things I purchased. I'm not going to go through everything, but in all cases, except for the one pair of shoes that I purchased through Tradesy, I've been able to negotiate with the seller on the price. So that's the thing about Poshmark and why I gravitate towards Poshmark, is that you can always make an offer. On other websites such as Fashion File, Tradesy, The RealReal, you can't bargain with the price. The price is listed as what it is and you either buy it or you don't. Now I think that you can, on Tradesy, you can ask the seller questions, but in terms of Fashion File and The RealReal, I believe that sellers, they sell their items to these websites and then the websites sell them. So you're not gonna negotiate with these websites. It is what it is. So that's why I gravitate towards Poshmark. But on the flip side, as a seller, it's a little more annoying. For instance, today somebody made me an offer. Somebody offered me $30 for this brand new silk jumpsuit that I've never worn. I think it still has the tag. And they offered me $30 for it. I listed it for $50. I'm not going any lower than $50. Whereas on Poshmark, you can sell something. I've sold two things, not Poshmark, I'm sorry, on Tradesy. I've sold two things on Tradesy and it's like, it has taken a long time to sell, but certain things, but nobody's arguing with what I list the item for. So that's it's less annoying, but I do think that sometimes things can move faster on Poshmark. And also on Poshmark, you have the option of going and like constantly sharing your item. So it's almost like, if you have Tumblr, it's like a reblog, just like sharing it, and so that it appears on someone's feed, whoever's following you or whoever's looking up a certain brand. If somebody's looking up Jeffrey Campbell shoes and you have a Jeffrey Campbell shoe and you keep sharing your item, it's gonna pop up at the beginning of their search results when they look up Jeffrey Campbell. So Poshmark, I really like that it's really interactive. There are a lot of different seller tools on there. You can make an offer, you can ask questions, you can have a whole dialogue, you can read other people's comments and questions on an item. You can read about the seller's stats, their average ship time, the love notes, which are just basically like reviews that other buyers can leave a seller based on whatever they've purchased. So those things I appreciate all of those tools, and I do use them. So that's one thing that I like about Poshmark and why I rave about Poshmark. And like I said, I have gotten great deals on certain items. Tradesy, I think Tradesy is a little, it's easier for sellers, I think, because like I said, nobody's haggling with you over certain prices. And I do think that it has a lot more luxury items than Poshmark. There's a lot on Poshmark, but Poshmark sometimes it's just, there's a little too much on there. So if you're overwhelmed by a multitude of search results all the time, Poshmark could be overwhelming. But for someone like me, I go in and I rarely just browse. I might start browsing by certain brands, but I'll never just like browse by tops, you know, because that's endless. I'm gonna be looking at thousands and thousands of tops. I'm more of the type of person that's like, oh, I really want this one type. I'm looking for a black stiletto heel and I want a luxury heel, or I'm interested in the nudist Stuart Weitzman shoes and I want them in black patent leather. Like, I know what I like, so it's easier for me to find something that I want because I already know what I want, or I know what my taste is. So I think that if you are a little more clear on what you want to look for, these websites are a little less intimidating for you to navigate because you can just narrow your search. And one thing I'll say is always do your research on an item, because people, they lie about what something retails for to make it seem like they're giving you a bigger discount than what they are. So if they list the product name, even if they don't, you know, if you're diligent enough, you'll be able to find it. So there are certain things that you can plug in. Like if you see a certain high heel from Prada, right? You can look up, you can type in the description of that item, like Prada feather heel, in Google Images or Google search. And then you can find that product name and you can see what it retails for. Because sometimes they won't tell you the product. So do your research, see if you can find that product and what it actually retails for, and if it's actually been discounted at all. And also try to, once you have that information, then it'll be easier to look it up on that website and other websites to see if other sellers are selling that item and how much they're selling it for. Because if somebody lists an item, let's say it's the Stuart Weitzman shoes. I'm just saying Stuart Weitzman because right now I have my eye on that shoe. So that's a shoe that retails for $398, right? So if somebody lists that shoe for $350, I'm not getting that much of a deal on the shoe because I know what the shoe retails for. It's not a deal. Maybe if I thought the shoe was $900, I may be like, oh wow, a new Stuart Weitzman shoe is $350. But no, the shoe retails for $398. So that's one thing. I have to see if it's really a discount, how much the discount is. And then if I have the information on what kind of shoe it is, I can type in Stuart Weitzman nudist on Tradesy, on Fashion File, on The Real, even in Google to see if it's on other websites that are not secondhand. But for instance, I saw it on Zappos for $267 and it's new. So you can see at that point, like comparing the discounts and seeing how low you can bring somebody, because even if somebody posts that shoe for $250, well, I just found it for $267 on Zappos, so I could just get it on Zappos, or I can try to make an offer and bring them down to $200. Or if most people are listing this Stuart Weitzman shoe and nobody's going lower than $250 on it, but somebody posts that shoe for $180, then I know that they're posting that for below market value, because I've already done my research and I've already seen what people are listing the shoe for. So you always want to get as much information as you can so that you're not getting ripped off. So you're maximizing your value. So that's one thing, maximizing your value. And sometimes you need to ask questions. If somebody only posts, you know, 2 or 3 pictures, see if they can post more pictures and be specific. Hey, can I see what the sole looks like? Can I see what the tip of the heel looks like? Are there any even straight up asking, hey, what are the defects? Because you kind of want to ask as many questions as you can, because on Poshmark you can't return something, but if they make a misrepresentation, you have grounds for returning and filing a complaint. So if somebody says, hey, no, there are no scratches on this, and then you get it and there's a huge scratch on it, you can say, hey, I want my money back because the seller made a misrepresentation on the product. So there you go. Whereas on Tradesy, you just get a credit back, which is, I think it's better than not being able to, than not having any recourse on a product that is not fake, right? Because on Poshmark, you can only return it if it's fake or if it's misrepresented. But on Tradesy, if you just don't like it, it's fine. Maybe it wasn't what you thought, it doesn't fit the way you thought, but there's no misrepresentation with regard to the product. You can still return it. So that's a benefit to Tradesy. But on the other side, Poshmark, you have more, you can get a bigger discount, I think, because you have a greater opportunity to negotiate. So that's what I do. I do my research. I always negotiate, and yeah, and I ask a lot of questions. So that's pretty much it. If anyone has any questions, please let me know. Oh, final word, because I do my advice is focused mostly on bags and shoes, but I did want to talk about clothing. So just keep your eye out for sellers that say, hey, this is from a pet-free, smoke-free home, because you don't want smelly clothes. Clothes are really hard. Unless it's new with tags, I try not to buy secondhand clothes. And again, I'll try to focus my research on outlet websites or discount websites. So Saks Off 5th, Last Call, which is like Neiman Marcus's version of Saks Off 5th, even Macy's, because Macy's always has a deal or some kind of sale going on, or even an outlet mall. So I would sooner go to those places and buy something new really discounted than buy secondhand clothes, unless I'm going to the store myself, a thrift store, and trying it on, which I don't do often because I like to shop from the comfort of my couch or my chair. I like to shop online. So I would prefer, you know, I'm a little, right now I haven't figured out the best strategies for shopping for clothes online, secondhand clothes online, just because some things are stretched out, they don't fit the same. And on Poshmark, you can't return it unless there's been a misrepresentation as to the product. So I ordered 2 turtlenecks and they ended up smelling like cigarettes, and I got them dry cleaned and it was kind of hard to get that smell out. I'm still working on it. I sprayed it with some of my perfume, but that's a lesson that I learned. Thankfully, I only paid like for the 2 turtlenecks, maybe like $30, but still I had to pay to learn that lesson. And now I know. I would probably still buy sweaters, but I would be mindful of that if it's a smoke-free, pet-free home, and I would urge you to look at that, to ask questions, to see if they stipulate that at all. So yeah, happy shopping, everyone. I hope this video was helpful. I've been going on for almost 15 minutes now, so I'm just gonna wrap it up. And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to let me know. Have a good day, everyone.